Hi, this is Dr. Solomon at Long Beach Chiropractic, and we're just going to go through some exercises for improving your posture. We're seeing more people working from home these days, and one of the things that is happening is that there's a lot more upper back, neck stress and strain than we've seen in the past. And so we're just going to give you guys a couple of exercises that you can do, no equipment required. That you can just do, take you a couple of minutes, maybe in the beginning of the day and maybe at the end of the day. You can do these and try and help your posture while you're working from home. So the first one is just learning how to protract and retract your neck. So often with seated posture, you end up in this forward head posture where your chin is jutted out, and it's actually quite difficult once you've learned this position to unlearn it and teach your neck to retract. So a simple exercise you can do is just literally sitting at your desk, and every now and again, whether it's every hour, every couple of hours, just become aware of your position. If your chin is jutting out, even if it's not jutting out, what you can do is you can just sit there, you can exaggerate a forward head posture, and then exaggerate the retracted position. And just go back and forth between these two positions for, I'd say, anyway, 30, 45 seconds, a minute, but you're just essentially teaching yourself those two positions. And you're just training your body to recognize those two positions. So that when you're typing and you end up here, your body recognizes it and you can auto-correct. But it's also just a good mobilizing position, almost a flossing position or a flossing movement for your neck and all those structures in your cervical spine. All right, so we're going to move on to some floor exercises. So the first one is called IYT. The first position was an I position. Second position is the Y position. And the last position is the T position. So that's the IYT. The next exercise that we need to do is going to teach us to control our scapula. And again, it's all about protraction and retraction of the scapula. Your scapular push-up. You can do this easy, just mobilizing exercise where you get onto all fours and essentially arms are locked out like you're going to be in the scapular push-up, and just drop your torso through your shoulders and push up, just to mobilize, get used to the protraction and retraction without any weight. And then what you can do is hop up on your feet and again drop through. So essentially what you're doing is you're protracting and retracting the shoulder with your elbows locked out, so that you can engage the serratus anterior, which helps better glide of your shoulder blades, your scapula, on your ribs. Right. So those are the exercises. The stretch to release your pecs, because if you're sitting like this in front of your computer, your pecs are going to get tight, pulls you into this anterior position. You need to open up your shoulders. So an easy way to do that is just sitting with your feet flat, hands behind you, and in this position you're going to open your chest up and you're going to hold this for about 20 seconds. After 20 seconds you can scoot forward a little bit, which will make the stretch a little bit more intense. Again, you're going to hold this for 20 seconds, and then again one more time you're going to push even further forward. So your hands and your feet stay in the same position, you're just shifting forwards through the movement. Alright, And so that's the pec stretch. That's helping just to release your pecs and allowing your shoulders to move backwards. The last one is called the shoulder wind up. And if you've been sitting, if you've been in one posture for a while, your shoulders, they don't move through their full range of motion, and it's almost like they forget how to move through their full range of motion. So every now and again, to take your shoulder through its full range of motion, and because your shoulder is made up of the rotator cuff, which is essentially what stabilizes your shoulder, you need to incorporate rotation into the movement. So the shoulder wind up is essentially palm up, reaching forward with your hand. So you're not just doing circles, you're pushing your arm, your fingers to the ground, and you're reaching forward, palm up. So you're taking a big scoop. You're going to try keep your bicep as close to your face or your ear as you can. And somewhere around here, you're going to turn your hand to face behind you, and now you're going to scoop from behind. Again, you're going to come up, you're going to turn your arm, and if you cannot get your arm here, it's fine. What you do is, if this is too sticky for you, you just move it out. And if you just end up having circles here, that's fine. As long as that's the most you can do, then you do it there. If you can do it here, then you do it there. So the goal is to do it in a pain-free range. So you're coming, scooping up, doing that. And I would, again, take about a minute to do one side and take another minute to do the other side. So those are essentially, that's a mobility stretch. The seated pec stretch is a stretch. The scapular push-up is an exercise. And the IYT is an exercise. So with the pec stretch, we're seated, feet down, hands behind us, and we go through the 3 different positions for stretching the pecs. That will definitely help to stretch the pecs. Sometimes we need a little bit more work, and what I would suggest is just getting yourself a slightly bigger than a tennis ball, hard rubber ball. It can be any kind of rubber ball, but it's bigger than a tennis, slightly bigger than a tennis ball. So what you're going to do with that is to try and release the pecs. And any adhesions in the pecs, you're going to take that ball and essentially you're going to put it in right in front of your shoulder, essentially. You're going to essentially lie on that, and you can roll around a little bit, but you're going to find a spot that might be a little tender, and you're essentially just going to put your weight onto that ball. If you need to lift yourself up, you can lift yourself up to get more pressure and kind of roll around in it. Once you find a spot, and if you want to work in it a bit more, you can put that pressure on, and then you can start moving your arm around and flossing that movement back and forth. You can even take your arm behind your back, just to release those adhesions. And what might be a good idea is to do your seated pec stretch. Get on your tummy, release the pecs on each side, get back into your pec stretch, do that again, see how that feels. You'll probably be able to push it a little bit further, and then alternate between those two, so you've done 2 or 3 sets for each one. And that should definitely help to release those pecs quite a bit, to allow the exercises to actually hold you in the position they need to hold you in. So these are some simple exercises that you can do to help your posture while sitting at your desk. These are just some of them. There are definitely many more that you can do and explore as you get better at these. We will be releasing another video soon about ergonomic changes and setups. If you have any questions or comments, please let us know.